What's going on, guys? Kigerr here, and today we're going to go over Spider-Man and Marvel Future Revolution, specifically for Alliance Omega War and regular Omega War. Let's get into it. Alright, jumping right into it with the Spider-Man abilities. I've talked to several of the largest Spider-Man in the game, not just my server, and these are what they're currently working on, plus or minus one or two abilities, and I'll go over those as well. Starting off, we have Spider Sense Combat, Tumble Web Shot, Kick, Throw Webs. You're trying to do, this is your biggest damage, as well as webbing people up. That's just Spider-Man's MO, that's what you're trying to do. Next, we're jumping straight into the cross counter. This is really good in Omega War. As I talked about in Dimension Duel, you're kind of sectioning off an entire area. And you kind of just pull it, set it, and forget it, and it's always going to do damage. You could set this up on top of a crystal spawn, on top of the huge team fight, and it has high guard break and can hit everybody. So if you have some guard damage, or if you just have high damage, this can really chunk people. Very next is Spider Combat's Endless Swing. Some people still really like the swing shot for the one swing and then shoot webs, but this hits twice for a whole lot more damage. The cooldown is also 1 second shorter, which is not a make or break, but could save you once in a while holding on to those points. Next is one that I get a question about a lot, and that is Web Shot. Some people like focused web wrap because it just does the huge damage. But if we look at Web Shot, it does 9 attacks and does more damage each time. So that 334% is very deceptive, as it really ramps up if you hit the same person, as well as this can crit. So 9 shots with crits, 2 or 3 people you just kind of lay waste. Next, we have Gyro Ball and Gyroscope, and this recently got a buff because it was throwing it out and not counting. As you see, you throw it out, it has a web check, and then it has a pull check. That pull check wasn't happening, as well as some damage wasn't happening, but that got fixed recently. Some people still like Stadium Slam because it follows, but I will remind you that Gyroscope also follows, or tracks, depending on what words you like to use for this. Meaning, if the opponent dodges or uses an ability to get away, it will follow them to attempt to hit them. Now, the other ability that people have been using right here, not that one, but the Taser Web, and that is because of how quick the cooldown is. You're throwing out some shock, as well as you're able to hit multiple people. This is still being tested. It's not highly recommended. I would suggest, if you're picking up Spider-Man or just not sure what abilities to play around with in Omega War, start with these right here and progress from there. Next, we're going to jump straight over into the Specializations. And Spider-Man's very interesting. There's a couple that are very must-have, whereas a couple that you can play with. This is an automatic Scorpion Pursuit. Every time you use Spider Combat, you get 36% of your dodge gauge back, which is a full dodge bar plus a little bit more. I'm doing this in priority. Your also next one will be increased dodge rate by 15%, making you cap out at 19%. This does not give you 15%, it gives you 15% max, meaning it gives you the opportunity to get 15% more from your stats and such. Next, we have Electro's Agility, converts dodge into damage. It says the word convert. It actually just gives you a percentage of your dodge as damage, which is great. Next, we have The very last one is up in the air between 2, and that's going to be depending on your playstyle. You can change a couple of the old abilities. I'll go over that in a second. But if you're staying with this man mode, just damage build, then you're really going to want Green Goblin's Madness. This is my preferred 4th spec. Bonus damage minus defense. You should not be getting hit, so minus defense does not matter. If you change out a couple of your hard-hitting abilities for more web-like abilities, which is an option, then webbing, not that one, this one, capture. Every time you go to apply web, you have a 35% chance to apply one more web. So if you do spider bots, every time they shoot to apply a web, they have a chance to apply 2 webs. And they shoot a bunch. So this can really web up 2 people in an Omega War if you're low damage and focused on guard break and webbing. Going on next into companions, where if we take a look right here, these are kind of the ones that you should be looking at. I prefer Ultron on my Spider-Man, and that is specifically because I'm usually the point leader, and Ultron lets you protect your points a lot easier with double swing and your active dodge. You can just wait till your next Ultron comes up, and regular Omega War, I'm sure you all know, other people are just picking up crystals just for points. Ultron gives you that little bit of buffer to let you get in without having to get the crystals. If you're not usually the point leader and you just want to contribute, then Gilgamesh and War Machine are your best options for guard break. Remember, if something has guard break, it'll go based off of your personal guard damage. So Gilgamesh and War Machine are both AoE guard break abilities. Gilgamesh also does a knockdown. Gilgamesh does a guard break and a stun. War Machine does a guard break and a knockdown. And they're both AoE, and they both do pretty good damage. And they're both considered highest guard damage. So if you have 20 or 30% guard damage, they can really rack it up. Going on into your Omega cards. You're not guaranteed to have the same Omega cards I do, but if we're assuming that you don't have special cards, set 8 is the go-to immediately for Spider-Man, and that's because the 2-set bonus is dodge rate. The 2 that I would suggest are one of the 2 attack ones, Ares and Hail Hydra, and the second one being the Savage Axe of Ares, Defense Pierce. You can do double attack if you're trying to hit thresholds to make sure you do enough damage against certain enemies, and or if you're trying to hit power level for Invasion, which we're getting the next one pretty soon, then you can do the double attack, but I would suggest Defense Pierce in a PvP focused build. Next, you're going to want more PvP, so technically you're going to want Storm and Captain Marvel, but if you're unable to get that, then something that you can go into is set 11, is the accuracy card right here. You really want PvP bonus, PvP increase, PvP decrease, Defense Pierce, and dodge. Really, those are what you want to focus on, as well as once you have those kind of looking good, you can then focus on Defense Pierce, crit rate and crit damage, and then you're good at that point. Next, we have some gameplay from Nufan from Omega Flight server. He gave this to me to help out with this video. Shout out to Nufan. Does not have a channel, but I wanted to let you all know who it was coming from, and we'll get into that right now.